Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dead Ball Specialist podcast with Sammy and Saurav. This is me, Saurav. In a short while from now, we're going to be joined by Sammy from Mumbai. But just to put a little context, आज बहुत सारे न्यूज़ है. कुछ अच्छा है, कुछ बुरा है. But we'll try segregating all of them for you. For the time being, Sammy, here you are. How is it? How has been the week for you? We have finally won our first game in the series of last 4 games. Obviously, you were in a better mood. But, yeah.
पहली बात तो मैं पहले से ही था. मैं क्यों बोला तूने कि मैं बाद में ज्वाइन कर रहा हूँ. मैं तेरे साथ हूँ. तू जहाँ जाएगा जिंदगी में मैं तेरे को मिले. वो गाना सुना है, तू जहाँ चलेगा मेरा साया नहीं, मैं इन बॉडी तेरे साथ हूँ. बट ये सौरव आई एम, अरे यार कॉपीराइट इश्यूज है ना यूट्यूब पे, नहीं तो
that is true.
Yeah, but the point is that Saurav, I'm really happy with the way Manchester United are playing. You know, for the Carabao Cup I did stay up and I watched the game, and I must tell you, after a very long time, it's not the win that is, that I'm only happy about, but the fact is that the way they won, the way they played, all of that put together has put me in a very happy space, honestly. And I'm loving this new Manchester United that I'm seeing. But fingers crossed, with this team, never say never. Anything can happen at any point of time. So yeah, man. What's up with you? What's happening with you?
How do I put this? देख, मैं तुझे बताऊँ एक चीज़, कायदे से सोचेगा तू. At this point of time, Manchester United has no left backs. Serge Reguilon limped off with what it looked like a hamstring injury. Luke Shaw is out with a muscular injury for a long period of time. Malacia has been still under recuperation. And then the only left back that I know is probably could have played Martinez, but he's also out. तो कुछ कर नहीं पाए, तो we had to play Sofian Amrabat in that position. But I think it was a very commanding game. Like you said, it was a very commanding game on his behalf. It showed a lot of composure that Sofian Amrabat can actually bring. But what remains to be seen is what happens when either of Luke Shaw or Serge Reguilon is back. Will he be able to command the central midfield? Which I think he would. Which I also think that, Sofian Amrabat in the central midfield position is going to actually unlock the box-to-box qualities of Casemiro. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed like you. Because you never know. Again, we're playing Crystal Palace again, but this time it's going to be in the Premier League. It's a home game, so I really hope that we're going to win this one.
Absolutely, and sort of totally agree. See, the thing with Sofian Amrabat is that he is a very versatile player, and his attitude is also very good. Ten Hag has gone on record to say that when asked, Amrabat said that play me in any position that you want, I will train accordingly. I think that's also what a team like Manchester United are looking for right now, given where they are. A lot of issues going on with a couple of players, as you know, one of them being Jadon Sancho, which we will come to. But very, very happy to have a player with if not just the skill, but I think जो attitude है ना, I think Sofian Amrabat को तो मैं बोलता हूँ कि भाई 5 stars just for the attitude, and also yes, correctly, he's that missing piece in the puzzle according to me.
And I agree with you, Sammy, पता है, because in one of the first interviews that he had when he was unveiled as a player, he said that he really doesn't like partying, or he's not the kind who's just gonna have a world outside.
Now you're getting personal, man. ये क्या बात है?
No,
I love
I'm
to
not
party,
saying
bro,
anything against you. What I'm trying to say is that he said that football is in itself a way of life. So that shows how serious he is. And I'm so glad. I'm so glad. It's like actually a signing of, if you remember that, of Odion Ighalo, which Solskjaer had done, he loved the club. So it seems like it's the same sort of signing. I mean, where players want the club to come in, they want to play for the club, and it's a positive sign. I feel it's a good sign.
Totally agreed.
Yeah,
totally agreed. In fact, talking about having a good time, Saurav, we are I think a couple of days away from October, and whenever I come into October, one of the most amazing memories that I have of this month is in the year 2010-11 when I had visited Munich in Germany, and the Oktoberfest was on at that point of time. You know, what a superb time to be in Germany. But I mean, अगर आप बॉम्बे में भी हो, बॉम्बे में जियो वर्ल्ड ड्राइव में they are having the Oktoberfest. A couple of pubs over there are actually, you know, celebrating Oktoberfest. I plan on going there, Saurav. Unfortunately, you will not be there. अगर हम दोनों मिलके Oktoberfest में जाते तो क्या होता?
यार कोई बात नहीं यार, यहाँ कर लेंगे, यहाँ पे भी हो रहा है वैसे। दिल्ली वालों, अगर आपको कहीं पे जाना है, यू कैन ऑलवेज विजिट DLF एवेन्यू इन साकेत. DLF Commons is holding a Oktoberfest for people who are in the central Delhi. You can always throng to Connaught Place. Great deals. I think there'll be a couple of these Oktoberfest deals going around in places where they're going to be screening the matches too. So it's a win-win situation for you. Like Sammy said, go ahead with your loved one, go ahead with your fellows, go ahead with your own bunch of people. You want to have a good time. I mean, it's nothing like having a whole pint of beer alongside you. Speaking of having good times, you know, Sammy, there's been someone who's having a really good time. First, he managed to get out of England. First, he managed to get out of the clutches of Daniel Levy. Then went on to score 6 goals for his new club in Bayern Munich. And now, Harry Kane has finally been pictured alongside Thomas Muller and Manuel Neuer officially attending the Oktoberfest. So here's the photo, if you can see it on my screen right now.
Oh yeah,
he's having a terrific time. He scored 6 goals. He scored against Manchester United in the Champions League. So well done, man.
Seriously well done. In fact, सौरभ, ये वाला पिक्चर देख के ना मैं थोड़ा सा इंस्पायर्ड हो गया हूँ, एक्साइटेड हो गया हूँ. तो मैं अब ये करने वाला हूँ कि 6 तारीख को ना दिल्ली में एक ICC वर्ल्ड कप का मैच है, ठीक है. 7 तारीख को I'm supposed to be coming back. 6th of October, yes. 7th तारीख को, 7th I'm supposed to be coming back, but now I'm going to change my ticket to the 8th. 7th, you and I are going out. We are also posting a similar picture. हम ना ही केन हैं, हम ना ही थॉमस मुलर हैं, but हम हैं भाई. हाँ, ठीक है, तो हम भी पोस्ट करेंगे पिक्चर. And yeah, guys, if you want to come and join us, 7th we'll keep you posted on our social media of exactly where we're going to be. But do join us. It's going to be a great time. And one beer from Saurav to you if you're coming. Yeah. Done. From Saurav, remember.
Done. Acha, Sammy, by the way, there's some really explosive news coming out of Spain. Barcelona has formally been put under investigation for sustained active bribery. Now, this is a very long saga that is played out. FC Barcelona and several of the soccer club's current and former executives are officially being investigated for suspects of active bribery. The investigation relates to alleged improper payments made by Barcelona to Jose Maria Enrique Negreira, a former leading refereeing official in Spain. Now, this is not very big news to a lot of people because we always felt these refereeing decisions always parted and were a little sidelined, a little favorable to Spanish teams, but to Barcelona. And it is also the fact that it's happening since 2001. You know, they're saying, okay, I'm reading out the news directly from CNN Sports. They say that the prosecutors alleged several current and former club officials were aware of payments worth over £7 million invoiced to 2 companies founded by Negreira, who was serving as a CTA vice president from 93 to 2018, which acted on behalf and in direct benefit to Barcelona. So if you remember these refereeing decisions that used to just go horribly wrong, because I remember in 2011, the Arsenal versus Barcelona semi-final where Robin Van Persie was sent off for a very stupid mistake of his. It was a second yellow card.
Absolutely.
Now all of this is just unraveling. So we are right at looking at the tip of the iceberg. We do not even know कि नीचे है क्या. अब पता नहीं है क्या होने वाला है.
In fact, also sort of चेल्सी वाला गेम याद है? यूएफए चैंपियंस लीग में चेल्सी वर्सेस बार्सिलोना एक गेम था जिसमें डिडियर ड्रॉगबा गॉट सो पिस्ड ऑफ. आई थिंक इट वाज डिडियर ड्रॉगबा एंड माइकल बैलक. I remember. You know, they'd lost their marbles and take a look. In fact, take a look at this clip.
Lampard looking to pull it back, and E10! It's a fantastic start for Chelsea. And he was really caught by surprise then. Good play by Malouda, who goes down. Yeah, he's impeded him. He's given the free kick to Chelsea. This is Alex. John Terry. Lampard has helped it through, and Drogba controls. He's gone down toward a penalty, as the Chelsea fans were baying for. My first reaction is a penalty. Anelka looking to get in here for Chelsea, but what's the decision with Abidal? It's red. Anelka. Is that handball against PK? The referee says no. To pick it up, and there's the final whistle, and it's Barcelona who are in the final against Manchester United in Rome, and John Terry is absolutely furious. Andres Iniesta with the first shot on target that Barcelona managed after 2 minutes of stoppage time has denied Chelsea.
There you go, and you can see Didier Drogba in the end just saying, it's a disgrace, right?
Yeah.
3 clear-cut penalties were not given, 2 tackles and 1 handball inside the box were not given. And मेरा एक सवाल है यार, सिर्फ एक सवाल है मेरा. जब ये सब हो रहा था बार्सिलोना में, तब वहाँ का कोच कौन था? Who was the manager?
यार वैसे तो पेप गार्डियोला था, बट क्या फर्क पड़ता है? He's been sitting around 115 charges that have been levied against Manchester City. Now, is there something that is concretely happening? We don't know. Have they won the treble? They have, but it's tainted for sure. Now, this raises really serious questions. I'm not going to say anything. It's very suggestive. आपको समझ में आता है, हमें समझ में आता है. हम नाम लेके छोड़ देते हैं, बस और क्या कर सकते हैं?
और क्या आप टकले पे तबला बजाओ. हाँ, हम तो सिर्फ नाम लेके छोड़ देंगे भाई. सही है. But no, I think, the fact that he is called one of the leading managers, like, one of the top managers of the world. I totally, I honestly, Manchester City है तो अब यार मैं क्या ही बोलूँ तेरे को, मैं United fan हूँ, but at some level I used to admire that guy for simply what he had done. But धीरे with all of this coming out ना, and like I have always said before as well, Greenwood के time पे भी मैंने बोला था कि you are not guilty unless it's proven, right?
Yeah.
But the things seem to be suggesting that Guardiola, with his explosive style of football, might have won some hearts, but to win silverware, he might have done some other stuff as well. You never know. पैसा QR कोड चाहिए सौरभ मेरे को. QR कोड नहीं मिल रहा है हमारा. QR कोड पे रोज भूल जाता हूँ प्रिंट आउट. यार प्रॉब्लम क्या है मैं आपको बताऊं, ठीक है? ये आप एक काम करो, ये देखो स्क्रीन पे अभी मैं QR कोड डाल रहा हूँ. ये वाला QR कोड है, ठीक है? प्रॉब्लम ये है कि इसका प्रिंट आउट लेके,
सुनिए भाई साहब, पैसे मत भेजना इस पे.
आप इसको स्कैन तो करो, आप देखो ना क्या मिलता है. नहीं इसको स्कैन करो, देखो आपको क्या मिलता है, ठीक है? आई एम नॉट गोना से आपको क्या मिलेगा, यू गॉट टू चेक इट आउट. ऑलराइट, एक दूसरा QR कोड में डाल रहा हूँ, इसको भी आप स्कैन करो एंड यू सी व्हाट कम्स अप. सिर्फ मैं इतना बोलूंगा कि जो भी आएगा अच्छा आएगा और फॉलो करने लायक आएगा, ठीक है ना? मैं इतना ही बोल सकता हूँ. बट द पॉइंट इज दैट कि प्रिंट आउट लेके आई डोंट वांट टू हार्म द एनवायरनमेंट एट ऑल. ओके, बट हार्म से मुझे याद आया कि यार तू जो मेरे रेपुटेशन को इतना हार्म करता है, मेरे को इतना ट्रोल करके, हाँ, गो बैक लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन टू प्रीवियस एपिसोड्स, यू विल सी दिस मैन हैज दिस हैबिट ऑफ पिकिंग अप स्टफ of what I have said and where I have been wrong.
Speaking about Sammy, speaking about his redemption arc, from zero to hero, this week we are featuring Sammy's clip too. Before we get on to the serious bit, Sammy, here we would like to let our viewers and our podcast listeners know that there is a sort of an embargo on Sammy too.
And posting it, और वो भी क्या black and white करके पोस्ट करता है, ठीक है? तो इससे जो मैं तेरे पे केस डालना चाहता हूँ, पर ऐसा ही सिमिलर सिचुएशन हुआ है किसी और के साथ.
भरे हुए हैं, हाई कोर्ट भरे हुए हैं, सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जगह नहीं मिलने वाला है. No one's gonna take suo cognizance of this fact.
Unfortunately, that's the case. But it seems that Victor Osimhen has been in a similar situation, but with his club. His club has trolled him really hard on Instagram. Yeah. Check out this post by Napoli.
Thank you. You give me penalty. Thanks.
Now you see that there. And Saurav, how can a club do that to one of their players, man?
Yeah, and frankly, it's a very serious thing, Sammy. मैं तो बोलूँगा कि firstly, this has some really racial overtones to it, okay? Secondly, I would not want to go back and see it. I do not know why Napoli did. A little context to what had actually happened was Napoli were playing Bologna and Victor Osimhen had missed an open goal, and then he had eventually missed the penalty as well, because of which he was hooked when the game was about to just end 5 minutes from the final 90 minutes. And he was hooked and he was not very happy about it. So he went up to Rudy Garcia and he told him that if you want to really win the game, you might as well put on another striker. There's no need to pull me out of the game. And then later what happened is that Napoli posted a TikTok trend which did not definitely go down well with Victor Osimhen. Now, this is something that has regularly happened. I mean, what I really feel for and what I really feel bad about Victor Osimhen, this fact is the fact that Victor Osimhen was single-handedly responsible for Napoli to actually win the Scudetto last time around. He scored 31 goals. He took Napoli to the quarterfinals. And for the club to come out and do something this disgraceful, I think he is well within his rights to express it. Now, what remains to be seen is whether Victor Osimhen goes on to sign the contract extension with Napoli, or are there going to be other clubs who are going to be looming around? Because De Laurentiis, the club president, is as notorious as Daniel Levy in the Premier League. So he wants Osimhen to sign a very huge release clause, which Osimhen is a little reluctant about. But this incident, I do not think was required. This is just out of the blue. Now, even I'm a little shocked, but yeah,
absolutely.
But
in fact,
it just makes no sense to me.
As we discuss this, the club has in fact put out a statement, and they seem to be apologizing over here. I'm just gonna put that up on your screen, ladies and gentlemen. As you can clearly see, I think Napoli, while not straight up apologizing, I think they have put out a tweet saying that they are sorry about the situation. But Saurav, this case actually is really interesting. I'll tell you why. Whatever is the outcome of this case, right? Whatever, I think Victor Osimhen, whatever action he takes or does not take is exactly what I'm gonna do to you. Okay, so this is gonna be yes, because मेरा भी defamation हुआ है यार. 100 करोड़ रुपए तू मेरे को तेरे से क्या ही 100 करोड़
भाई, मेरा खून किडनी दिल अलग अलग बेचना
भाई,
तुझे उतने पैसे नहीं मिलने आएगा.
उसमें भी नहीं आएगा. बट पॉइंट इज तेरे से क्या ही 100 करोड़ लूंगा मैं. बट व्हाट आई वांट टू डू इज आई वांट टू सेट इट एज अ प्रेसिडेंट. लाइक एवरी टाइम आई एम गोना, like, on social media, every time that I'm going to say that, okay, I'm going to ask from sort of this because of what he's done, I'm going to go back and say because Victor Osimhen had got this from Napoli. All right, that's how I'm going to go about this. Okay, but in other news, I think एक मैं चीज़ सोच रहा था कि हम लोग इतने साल से मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड के फैंस पीछे पड़े हुए हैं. ग्लेजर्स आउट, राइट. ग्लेजर तो जा नहीं रहे, राइट, कहीं पे भी. दे नॉट टेकिंग वन स्टेप आउट ऑफ द क्लब एज ऑफ टुडे. बट द पॉइंट इज कि आयाक्स और फेयरनूट के मैच में आई थिंक आयाक्स फैंस हैव हैड इनफ ऑफ व्हाटएवर इज गोइंग ऑन इन द क्लब एंड दे हैव टेकन थिंग्स इनटू देयर ओन हैंड्स. Again, ladies and gentlemen, just a disclaimer. At no point am I or Saurav saying that we are supporting violence in any way, but we're just reporting the facts that this is what has happened very, very recently, where Ajax have actually the fans have gone and ransacked the entire stadium. Yeah. Sort of just a couple of videos that have come up on social media, which you should take a look at.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I remember this because I wasn't watching the game, but for sure it came up on my X platform, and I saw that. So essentially what has happened is by the second half, Ajax was already down by 2-0. So the 3-0, and the game had already been sort of, stopped for a couple of minutes, and then eventually what had happened was the police had to be brought in to stop the rioters. Now the game was disbanded for the day, and then the game was again restarted the following day, in which Ajax went on to concede another goal. Now Feyenoord scored 4. Ajax hadn't scored a single goal, but since then it's had massive ramifications across the club. After Sunday's fiasco, Ajax fired their technical director Sven Mislintat. And then they've also sacked the club's top administrator Pierre Eringa, and he resigned before the Wednesday's second half kickoff. Now Ajax have a very bad start to the season. With just one win, they sit 14th in the 18 team league already. So things aren't looking that well. Another club is in a very similar situation, and there is another theory that is just proving itself every time it is happening. It's the ill-fated third season of Jose Mourinho. This time in Roma is currently sitting 14th. They've played 5 games. They've won 1 game. And they've lost 2. They've drawn 2. So Roma is not in a very good position. This again is the ill-fated third season of Jose Mourinho. Will Jose Mourinho stick around? Will the club fire Jose Mourinho? You never know. But going by past records, since Chelsea, Real Madrid and then Manchester United, he's always been shown the door in the very first half of the season before actually December's kicked in. Now, what happens with Roma, it's something that we are really keeping a very close watch on. Correct?
Absolutely. In fact, what happens with Jose Mourinho is also going to be very interesting, just for the fact that, it's been a trend, like you correctly said with him, right? It's always been a trend like that. And how, right now, I don't know if you guys can hear all the music that's going on behind me. There's a trend of people taking out these processions on the road for God knows what reason. Totally off the topic, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know why. I'm going to take a video of that and also try and show that to you. But right now, Saurav, I think it's time that we headed into the Premier League corner.
Yeah.
Right? Premier League corner में सबसे पहले आज मैं डिस्कस करना चाहता हूँ कि पोचेटिनो के ऊपर जो प्रेशर बना हुआ है, सौरभ, do you think is he, like we're talking about managers, right? Do you think he's gonna stay? Do you think he's gonna go? What's gonna happen with Mauricio Pochettino?
Yeah, I think Mauricio Pochettino is gonna stay. You never know. See, I am not saying that Mauricio Pochettino is gonna be sacked tomorrow, but if of course there is a sort of another defeat, it just keeps piling on the pressure right now. Now they've lost to Aston Villa. They lost to Aston Villa 1-0. That is something that we were kind of talking about. It can happen, it might not happen, but it has happened. Now, he's lost 1-0. However, Chelsea's managed to win their Carabao Cup, but that's not something that we are taking into consideration. We're just talking about the league standings. Currently, I believe Chelsea is somewhere around 14th or 15th. It's not looking very good. But I think Mauricio Pochettino is also the kind of coach who can actually dig deep, and he can really bring out the best in the people. It's a thing in football. When things aren't going your way, nothing goes your way. You're gonna miss shots, you're gonna miss goals, you're gonna get red cards, you're gonna get bookings. You're just gonna play well for 89 minutes, and on the 90th minute you're gonna concede a goal. It's an absolute heartbreak. It's a kind of a situation that I can really sympathize with, because we've also had something of that sort for the last 2-3 weeks. Starting from the game at Arsenal, and then losing to Arsenal, that too at the 90th minute. So things aren't looking that good. They also have a number of injuries. They have about Manchester United and Chelsea, they both have a joint 9 players who are out of the game because of injuries. So that's also something that needs to be seen, because we really haven't seen a full Chelsea that has, all the fit players and how that team is actually playing. They have so many new players. They've bought so many new players. So that remains to be seen.
I'm gonna take you back in time a little bit. I think we are in season 3 of the Dead Ball Specialist podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Go to episode 2 and go to episode 3. This was at the beginning of the season when we have discussed exactly this, that with the new set of rules and the new set of scheduling that has happened, none of the clubs, I believe, will be able to have a full squad available to them at any point of time. I don't know when, the authorities are gonna kind of take notice of this and tweak their rules accordingly, but sort of it's just a shame, man.
To further pile on the, sort of bad luck, Reece James has been charged with the breach of FA Rule E3 following Chelsea's Premier League game against Aston Villa. It's alleged that the defender used improper and or insulting, abusive behavior towards a match official in the tunnel after the game. Reece James has until Friday 29th, which is today, to provide a response to this charge. What do you say, Sammy?
एक बात बताओ, ये मतलब कर क्या रहे हैं? रेफरी ऐसा जैसा काम करेगा तो व्हाट डू यू एक्सपेक्ट कि वो जाके उसको माला पहनाएगा उसको? नहीं ना, वो है तो उसको ही बोलेगा, वो मतलब तो बोलेगा क्या? नहीं व्हाट? नो एक बात बता यार, ये जो हम लोग बोलते हैं रेफरी,
दिस इज नॉट अलाउड.
अरे क्या,
दिस इज द जेंटलमैन्स गेम. You cannot use all of this.
अरे जेंटलमैन्स गेम इज क्रिकेट. फुटबॉल कब से बन गया जेंटलमैन गेम? बट मेरे को नहीं पता.
Sammy, look here.
ये सब नहीं हो पाएगा ब्रो. नहीं. अब भाई तो ये सारी गाली अब मैं तेरे को देने वाला हूँ, तू अगर रेफरी बन रहा है तो
कॉल पे दे दे.
ले भाई ले. Okay. No. But guys, I think it's frustrating, Saurav. It is frustrating for a human being.
Yeah.
It is. Matlab, day in, day out, you are going in to play and give your 100%. Yeah. And then every time, the referees are screwing up. VAR is screwing up. अब इंसान गाली देगा ना, और क्या करेगा भाई?
But Sammy, did you manage to catch on and watch the North London derby? Because it was a really good one. Arsenal, Spurs, 2-2. But I feel, despite Arsenal being at home, they looked a little vulnerable to me. Ange Postecoglou, he's really conjured something within the Tottenham Hotspur players, because every time Arsenal scored, Spurs just came back within a minute. Both the goals were scored by Son. Both the goals were assisted by Maddison. But Spurs looked the better side to me. Arsenal looked a little vulnerable. It seems that, Arsenal, although, they have been clinging on. They've played 6 games. Both the teams have played 6 games. They've drawn 2, but they've won 4. They've not lost a game. But for me, for the first time, Spurs looked a little bit of more of a threat. Because it's a game at Arsenal, because it was a game at the Emirates. It seemed to me that, Spurs, if they could have actually done it. Because there was one of the dubious decisions again, It's one of those VAR calls which make no sense again to me. It was the same guy who was involved, Romero, the Spurs defender. A similar kind of a shot, stops it by his hand, but since it was within the penalty box, it was given as a penalty. And the same thing happened against us. When Alejandro Garnacho had scored and he was within the box, it wasn't. So I am not able to make any head or tail about these VAR decisions. For people who are watching this, if you think that VAR is something that is really killing the game, please, we're going to put out, you can put out your comments on a YouTube file, or we could put out a sort of a poll, which will be having 2 options, which is yes, and the second option reads absolutely yes.
Correct. Absolutely yes is what I am going for, because like I said, it is frustrating, number 1, and number 2 is that let's understand, why was VAR brought into the game? They said कि VAR आएगा तो mistakes कम हो जाएंगे और better decisions मिलेगा, ये होगा वो होगा, right? अभी तो भाई मेरे को ऐसा लगता है कि ये तो दोगलापन है.
ये सब दोगलापन. Even I don't understand, because seriously, the number of decisions, even there was a dubious call in the Carabao Cup as well. मेरे को लगा था, I really felt that Pellistri, that challenge on Pellistri, it could have been given a penalty. There was a lot of chit chat about that Pellistri could have been given he should have hadn't gotten a penalty, but it didn't happen. I do not know what is happening. Even in the Champions League fixture, the handball decision that was given, that's one of the first kind. I really wanted to talk to you, Sammy, about this. So VAR what actually did was firstly there was a shot taken. It somehow Eriksen was very close to the player and it hit his hand. VAR initially said that no, nahi hoga, and then VAR went back. They reviewed their own decision and said, okay, it's gonna be a penalty. That is the first thing that had happened. So for all of these reasons, I'm not saying that the game which we lost 4-3 to Bayern Munich was a game jahan pe we were very equal to them. We were not. We were just clinging on to dear life for like good 60-70 minutes. There were patches of play, of course, where United was better at it. But when it comes to the sheer decision making on the spot, that is where VAR is lacking. That is why we've been saying it for a very long period of time. It seems that they're just taking the piss out of players. They're taking the piss of the supporters. You're just managing to somehow make sure that these emotions that run along with the game aren't something that are valid.
No, I totally agree with you, and I think somebody, I don't know who, but somebody really needs to get in and find a solution to this.
Yes.
Because I think it's just now getting shitty just the way this Jadon Sancho situation at Manchester United is getting very, very shitty. Recent update says that Erik ten Hag has asked Jadon Sancho to not sit and dine with the first
very good
team.
He should be banished.
He's been banished. Yeah, he has been banished. And Saurav, I think इतना क्या ईगो यार, मतलब
यार देख मैं तुझे बताऊं, सीधी बात है. It's a very simple thing. You are being paid to do a job. If your manager comes out and says that, dude, you haven't been training well, the onus lies on you to go ahead and prove him wrong by just doing what he's told you not to do. To suggest the fact that you know what, he is wrong within an hour of Ten Hag's statement that has come out, that he said that he wasn't performing that well for that week and hence he wasn't in the matchday squad. For him to come out and say and to allege that there's something going around apart from what the manager is saying, that is raising question on the manager's credibility. And I think I totally sideline with the manager on this. If he's decided that Jadon Sancho should be banished from this current crop of players, it makes so much sense. Because you wouldn't want to have or hold on to someone who's just holding a grudge against you, who doesn't want to play for the club, who doesn't want to put in his absolute best on the pitch.
Right. In fact, sort of while we were talking about it, I was looking on the internet and the club legend Roy Keane has given a statement saying that show some sort of humility. Jadon Sancho offered advice on how to rescue his Man United career by club legend Roy Keane. So, and he's absolutely right. Like, if a man like Roy Keane, who's known to be a character, who's known to have, locked horns with the great Alex Ferguson, but at some point of time, even at some level, I think this guy is also, he knows that he is the manager and the final call is his. Yeah. I am the player and I have to play under him. There is some sort of hierarchy that is at play at every club. And I honestly feel that Jadon Sancho has just gone way beyond now, way beyond. If you don't want to play for a club, it's perfectly fine. I think this is another Ronaldo situation in the making, unfortunately. And Erik ten Hag, I must say, has been very, very respectful of the situation, and more than that, he's been respectful, dude. He's just spoken facts. Every time the media has also tried to kind of poke him and take out something which can be sensationalized, he's not done that. He's been very, very respectful of the situation. And he said that last time, in fact, I was watching the press conference and somebody asked him about Jadon Sancho and he said that I'm only going to comment on players who are available for selection. What a beautiful way to kind of put it to rest, that boss, ये सब मत करो, मैं तो नहीं बोलने वाला. And Jadon Sancho यार रात को 3 बजे बैठ के फीफा खेलते. एक बात बता यार, किसका मन नहीं करता है रात को 3 बजे बैठ के फीफा खेलने का? तेरा भी करता है, मेरा भी करता है, करेक्ट. बट अगर अगले दिन ऑफिस जाना है और हमें काम करना है तो हम नहीं कर सकते भाई. इतना तो हमें अपना with all the meager salary that we get, We have this much of professionalism built into us. Now, Jadon Sancho, I really don't know what is up with this guy. I had a lot of respect for him. I really thought that when he came to Man United, he would really kind of, just kind of
blow it apart,
blast into. Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, but देख क्या कर रहा है, बैठ के FIFA खेल रहा है, मतलब क्या ही बोलूं. Really disappointed with this guy.
For people who are not actually aware of this, Sky has come up with a new podcast episode that features Roy Keane, that features Jamie Carragher, that features Gary Neville. If you want to catch up on it, it's called Stick to Football, and it's available on YouTube. If you want to just go up and catch, you'll get to know what is being actually talked about. Now, me and Sammy, we can of course talk about it, but when it comes to ex-players talking about the psychology that plays behind these dynamics between a player and a manager, I do not think there's anything that, raw or anything that visceral that is being talked about right
anything
now.
Anything better than listening to them.
So please go ahead, please look it up. It's brilliant. I got to see the first episodes. There aren't many. They've just recently started it. It's really engaging. You should really go out and check it out. Amidst other news.
In fact, what I'll do is I'm gonna do is, sorry, Saurav, I'm gonna put a link in the comment section, in the description box below for everybody who's interested. Please go and click on that link and go check that podcast out as well. Yeah,
and in other news of the game week 6, Brighton won 3-1 against Bournemouth. It was kind of obvious, right? Brighton's been such good vein of form. Liverpool won 3-1 against West Ham again. Where Liverpool's gone undefeated this time around. Liverpool's not just drawn one game, won 5 of them, so they are comfortably in the top 4. And the most surprising game was that of Sheffield United versus Newcastle United, where Newcastle United thumped Sheffield by 8 goals, and all these 8 goals were scored by 8 different players. This is a record in its kind. It's the first time that's actually happened in the Premier League game. Now, speaking of all of this, Sammy, it's been a couple of weeks since you have not made any predictions. Now, of course, I think
you should know why.
Yeah, I do. I mean, of all who could think of it, it has to be me. But is there any sort of game that is looking out for you, which you think is gonna be a priced catch?
Next week का ना, तो मेरे को ऐसा लगता है कि मैन यूनाइटेड वाला तो डेफिनेटली देखो मैच. With the current form that the team is in, I think you should totally check out the Man United game. Along with that,
Spurs Liverpool
30th September. Spurs Liverpool में भी मजा आने वाला है, मुझे को ऐसा लगता है.
I think
कि वो ना end to end मैच होने वाला है.
End to end होने वाला है, yeah. Even Bournemouth Arsenal.
यूनाइटेड का मैच मैं इसीलिए बोल रहा हूँ. यूनाइटेड का मैच में इसीलिए बोल रहा हूँ कि रिसेंटली वी प्लेड द सेम टीम, राइट, क्रिस्टल पैलेस, और द परफॉर्मेंस वाज अमेजिंग, रियली गुड, राइट. अभी तक मैं उसको नहीं बोलूंगा कि चैंपियंस लीग लेवल का है या मैन सिटी लेवल का है, अभी तक तो नहीं.
चैंपियंस लीग लेवल होने के लिए ना चैंपियंस लीग ओपोनेंट भी होना चाहिए. दिस वाज क्रिस्टल पैलेस.
भाई क्रिस्टल पैलेस को हम लोग को तो एटलीस्ट 7-8-0 हराना चाहिए अगर हम सीरियसली सोच रहे हैं कि हम चैंपियंस लीग में. पता है मेरे को
7 और 8 गोल्स
टफ क्यों? अरे चल 5-0 तो हरा ही सकते हैं, 3-0 तो हरा ही सकते हैं.
5-0 हुआ भी है, साल हो गए भाई साहब. कब जाके हमने 9-0 जीता था, वो भी कोविड के टाइम पे, दैट टू अगेंस्ट साउथहैम्पटन, और मे बी लाइक 6-1 अगेंस्ट लीड्स. दैट इज द लास्ट वन आई रिमेंबर. वी हैवंट रियली स्कोर्ड दैट मेनी नंबर ऑफ गोल्स.
नहीं वो अरे स्ट्राइकर्स कहाँ है यार, मारोगे कहाँ से. बट हाँ, बियॉन्ड दैट आई थिंक टॉटनहम हॉटस्पर वर्सेस लिवरपूल, Saturday 30th of September, 10 p.m. India time. If you guys want to watch that game, you should in fact watch that game. Along with that यार, मेरे को लगता है ये न्यूकासल बर्नली वाला भी मज़ेदार गेम होने वाला है, पता है तेरे को?
Yeah, I think so too, because Burnley, they haven't really won, and I feel there is, of course, Burnley would really like to win, because when you compare our game against Burnley, where we just about managed to nick it, for certain patches Burnley were much better. First half में तो I particularly remember Burnley were passing the ball around better. of course, there was a brilliant strike by Bruno Fernandes. That was the only difference in the game. But Burnley is a good team. It is not the usual Sean Dyche team that you get to see during the COVID years. They would just loop the ball forward. They're not that kind of a team anymore. And it makes so much sense. Yeah, Newcastle and Burnley. Burnley hasn't won a game. Newcastle, of course, will want to win at their home stadium. So, yeah, that is something that even I would like to give it a shot.
Along with that, ladies and gentlemen, जैसे कि आपको पता है कि इंडिया में एक लीग चल रहा है, द इंडियन सुपर लीग, एंड आई एम अ बिग सपोर्टर ऑफ दैट लीग. मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि इन ईयर्स टू कम दिस माइट जस्ट बिकम द लीग that everybody wants to play in. I mean, Saudi तो है ही, उतना शायद पैसा नहीं होगा, but quality wise I think I've been following the league from 2015 Saurav, you know, the ISL, and I think year on year there has definitely been a lot of progress, for right? हाँ, big progress. हाँ, तो 1st October संडे को Kerala Blasters FC are playing Jamshedpur FC. That's a 8 p.m. game, ladies and gentlemen, and you can catch that on Sports 18 and Jio Cinema. Do watch that game as well. On that note, Saurav, on that QR code, समय हो चुका है कि मैं तुझे माफी दे दूं. माफी समझा?
दे दे यार, दे दे. अब कितना टाइम लेगा माफी देने के लिए?
ले ले भाई इस हफ्ते का माफी. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to wrap up this episode and for me to give maafi to Saurav. But in the meantime, do hit us up on our social media. I am across all social media platforms at the rate RJSammy07 is where you can hit me up, and do let us know if you know if there's something that you would want us to discuss as well. Saurav, अपना भी बता ही दे भाई.
It's Waza2188 across Instagram and X. I'm not using threads. I don't think वहाँ पे कुछ होता है. क्या होता है वहाँ पे मुझे नहीं पता.
कुछ नहीं होता है. ट्विटर पे ट्वीट कर, मतलब एक्स पे एक्स कर और उसी को कॉपी पेस्ट कर दे थ्रेड पे. यही होता है और कुछ भी यही होता है ना. हाँ हाँ भाई, कॉपी पेस्टिंग का जमाना है. देविया सज्जनों, थैंक यू सो वेरी मच फॉर बीइंग अ पार्ट ऑफ दिस पॉडकास्ट. वी आर गोना कैच अप विथ यू अगेन नेक्स्ट वीक, एंड टिल देन टेक केयर ऑफ योरसेल्फ. रिमेंबर October Fest, 7th of October. Saurav and I are going to be somewhere in Delhi having a couple of drinks. Do come and join us. Yeah, and we're going to keep you posted on our social media. Till then, thank you so very much. Take care of yourself. Bye.
Ciao.